Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer. Say, what would Batman be if he wasn't rich? He would be Robin. Today, we're going to look at DCeased, Gotham City Outbreak, a zombicide game by Spin Master Games and CMON. In DCeased, Gotham City Outbreak, a zombicide game, 1 to 4 players are going to work together and you're going to play one of the last of the remaining superheroes, and you're going to try to survive basically the zombie apocalypse. Okay. Now, the way this game is played primarily like most other zombicide games with a few small exceptions. So I'm just going to kind of highlight the rules and just kind of give you an overview of how it's played. Okay. And the setup. Now, the book in the back of the book, it's going to have 10 different missions. You pick which mission you want to play, and the mission is going to tell you how to set up the board, what your objective is, any tokens you're going to put on the board. Now, it's going to have spots on the board where you're going to be able to put bystanders. It's also going to have spots where you're going to be able to put equipment that you can find, and those are all face down, so you don't know where they're at. It's also going to tell you if there's any specific doors or anything that you need to put down on the board. You're going to get the superhero's starting location. You're going to get the zombie spawn points, and you're also going to get the exit. Okay. So the mission is going to tell you how to set up the board, what your objective is, what you need to do, get to the exit, and hopefully survive. Don't perish. All right. Now, to play the game, it's basically the same as most every zombicide game. You start off and you get 3 actions. Now, in this one, the very first thing you're going to do at the beginning of the player phase is all the players are going to get 1 power point. And they can go up to, and they can have, I believe it's 4 power points for all of the different characters. Okay. If you have anything that's not, you're going to refresh up basically all your activation tokens that you may have. And then what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to use your points for, you can move, you can open a door, you can power up, which means you can gain 2 power points. Okay. You can gain a trait, but you can only gain a trait once per turn. All right. You can trade or reorganize with people in your space, or just reorganize your own equipment. You can have as much equipment as you want, but you can only have 1 active. And if you want to change that without getting something new, you have to, of course, reorganize. If you got a bystander that's in your space, you can rescue that bystander, put him down beside your card, and now you get their ability that's going to help you out for the rest of the game as long as he's still alive. Okay. Usually requires power points in order to activate their abilities. You can collect equipment that might be in your space, flip it over, see what it is, put it in your inventory. Now you got it. You can interact with an object. Objects are usually the locations that you have to go to try to complete the objective. Or you can attack. Okay, that's basically everything that you're going to be able to do. Now, there's a lot of combat in this game. It's zombicide after all right? And the way combat works, it's pretty much the same as the latest editions of zombicide. Okay, where what you're going to do is you're going to look at equipment that you're using, or you're going to look at every character has its own special ability, okay, or its weapon. Okay, it's going to tell you whether it's a melee or a ranged attack. It's going to tell you whether it's how many dice you roll, and it's going to tell you the number that you need to hit. It's also going to tell you if it is ranged, what's the range? Can you do it in your space, 1 space out? How far is it going to be? Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to roll that many dice. Now, if you want, you can actually spend power points. Decrease those, and every one you decrease, you can actually use those to add more dice to your hit roll. And where you may want to do that is because when you look at the targeting priority list, some of the zombies, like the brutes, for example, or even the zombie heroes, they're going to have more than 1 hit point, so it's going to be hard to hit them. In previous versions of Zombicide, you had to go find a piece of equipment that say may do 2 points of damage in order to be able to damage the brute. Whereas in this one, you don't have to do that. Okay. So you roll all your dice, you see how many hit. So like in the case of Batman rolls standard 2 dice, and he hits on 3s. All right, so both of his dice are, say, greater than a 3 or greater, he could actually kill, say, a brute, because a brute has 2 hit points, okay? Or has 2 toughness. He would gain the 1 XP reward, and then he would go on from there. Now, if there's multiple zombies in a space, the nice thing is Batman may want to spend, say, if you add it, he can spend 3 power points and roll, say, 5 dice. If all 5 of those were hits and he had say 5 walkers in a space, whoosh, he wipes out all 5 walkers because every one of those will be hit. So you can actually wipe out creatures a whole lot better. Now, the nice thing about this one is if you are ranged and you are firing into another square that does have a bystander or it does have another superhero, we are superheroes. We don't hit them. We just follow the main targeting priority. Now, there can be zombie heroes on the board. Okay, zombie heroes, if you want to go attack those are usually number 1 on the targeting priority. You have to kill them first. They're harder to kill unless it's the Joker, I believe. The Joker, I think, always goes last in the targeting priority. Okay, now they're going to have on their card, they're going to have like a little heart. It's going to say a number, and that tells you how many points of damage you have to do to them. Okay, in some it's going to be 3. Do 3 points of damage. They're dead. Okay, continue down the targeting priority, and there you go. Now, the experience points reward you get for killing a zombie hero is also equal to whatever their heart is. Okay, so you go up there. Now, just like every Zombicide game, if you get into yellow, now you're going to get +1 action. If you get into orange, okay, now you're going to get your extra special ability. If you get into red, and just it's Zombicide after that. Okay, now once all of the players have taken their turn and they've gone and they've moved and they've attacked and they've done everything else they can do, then it's going to be the enemy phase. The enemies are going to activate. They're on the board. Okay, walkers are all going to move 1 space. Runners are all going to move 2 space. Okay, so if a runner moves 1 is in your space, well, okay, he's going to chomp on you and he's going to eat you for 1 point of damage. All right, otherwise they're just going to move 2. Zombie heroes all get 2 activations, so they're going to be like runners. They're going to be able to move 2 spaces. Now, you have to pay attention to their cards because they will have special abilities in their cards, like the Joker, for example. When he moves, wherever he ends his movement, he spawns a runner in his space. So he's always going to send runners out with him, okay, to make him tougher. All right. Once that's done, you're going to spawn enemies. So you start at, I always pick 1 point, and that's my starting point all the time. And I spawn whatever enemy is there, go to the next one, spawn enemies. Okay, do what they say. Now, there may be rushes, which may spawn them and then they may activate. There may be hordes. It may say spawn a zombie hero. Pay attention to zombie heroes. Some spawn not necessarily there, but they spawn next to the character with equipment or something like that. Okay, so pay attention to those. Once all your spawning's done, then you're going to move bystanders. Okay, bystanders are basically they're going to try to run away from zombies. They don't want to be near them because, well, they don't want to get eaten. Okay, and they're always going to try to move closer to superheroes. All right. Now, if a zombie happens to move into the space with a bystander, and it happens to eat a bystander, then what is it? I remember I get this confused every now and then, but I believe if a bystander does die, then you lose power or you lose a heroic trait. I think it is something like that. So you got to pay attention to that. Just don't let the bystanders die. Go rescue them. We're superheroes. They're people. Go get them. Go save them. Okay? Be a good guy. If eliminated, all superheroes lose 1. Oh, that's what it is. If a bystander is eliminated, all superheroes are going to lose 1 power and they're going to lose 1 trait. There you go. Right in the rules. I just need to look at it. Then you get to the end phase. The end phase, if you have anything that happens in the end phase, okay, you deal with it. And then you go again. Now, the nice thing about this game is all the superheroes can take their turn in any order that they want. All right, it doesn't always have to be the same order. So you just pay attention to the order. Who goes what? You have a little activation token. You just flip it over to its other side to say that you've activated. Once all the players taking a turn, enemies taking a turn, you get to the end phase. You do that. You just keep going and going and going. Once you've completed your objective and you've gotten to the exit space and you meet the requirements of the mission, well, then you will win. DCeased, Gotham City Outbreak, a Zombicide game. So what do I think about this game? All right, so I am a super fan of Zombicide. I've always loved, and I will play this game anytime. Okay, I don't have all of the versions of Zombicide that are out there. I do have several of them, but these little boxes. So this one here, this DCeased Gotham City Outbreak, is basically a small entry level version of the game. Okay, I know they did it with Marvel. When the Marvel set came out, Spin Master also created this small little, I think it was like Heroes Unleashed or something like that, version of that game as well. And I have that, and I absolutely love that game as well. It's similar, very similar to this one. Okay, but the thing I like about these games, these small box Spin Master games for Zombicide, is it's a great entry level into the Zombicide world for new players. And even old players alike. I mean, like I said, I've been playing Zombicide since it first came out, since first edition. And I love first edition still, okay? But the nice thing about these, it doesn't have all the miniatures. It has standees. That doesn't bother me, okay? It doesn't have all the nice boards. It's got like these little sliders that you're going to use for your health and power. those are kind of annoying a little bit. They do work, but I've actually used dice for the most part. Now, if you do happen to have the big main version of Zombicide and you have the boards that'll fit these cards, you can use those if you want, okay? But what I like about these little games is it's a small game. It's not the big Zombicide box. It's a small box. I can take it to someone's house. I can teach them how to play it in no time at all. And it's a lot of fun. I get the same feel with this game that I do with a regular game of Zombicide at half the price without all plastic miniatures and some standees. For me, this is one of those games that I will always have in my collection. I have a group of games that I keep for. I just want a smaller, lighter game that I can take to somebody's house. I can teach them how to play, or if they come to mine, either way. But it's just one that I can get out. I can play it in an hour, and it's just a ton of fun. Is it as good as the regular Zombicide game? In my opinion, it is. Okay, to me, it's just as good. I mean, there's some people that, oh no, I have to have the big trays and I have to have all the miniatures. I don't. Okay, I'm a hex and counter guy. Tokens work perfectly fine for me. Okay, and I'm totally happy with that. So this is one of those games. I absolutely love this game. It will always stay in my collection and it's going to sit right beside my big Zombicide boxes. I'll pull this one out. I'll pull the other ones out. The thing is, this one's got 10 missions and I can play these missions and have all kinds of fun with it. Now, the thing that I've discovered personally is if I am going to play Zombicide with, say, my longtime game group, I'm probably going to pull out the big box. I'm going to pull out the miniatures. I'm going to pull out everything. The missions, they seem to be a little bit longer. They're a little bit more in depth. Sometimes a little harder, although these ones are hard enough as well. Okay. But when I'm playing solo, I tend anymore to pull these little boxes out. I do it with the Marvel one, and I do it with this one as well. I may use the trays from the big box sets on occasion. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I just put the card down and use dice and call it good, okay? But I tend to use these a lot more for my solo games, and I use the other ones for when I'm playing with a group of people that at least know how to play or that we've been playing a long time. If it's their first time playing a Zombicide game, a lot of times I just pull this one out, and this one works absolutely perfect, and it teaches them how to play, and we all have a lot of fun. We laugh. We're just throwing dice all over the place. We're missing. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen someone roll 6 dice and roll nothing but 1s and 2s and totally fail a roll, and then the next turn they're munched. They're done. Okay, it's Zombicide. It happens. It's the story. Every time you play Zombicide, you just have a fun, interesting, great story to tell. Okay. If I was going to rate this game, to me, I put this game at about an 8. Okay. I got Zombicide, regular Zombicide, and some of the different versions a lot higher, or maybe a 9, 9.5. This one I put an 8, and the only reason I put this one as an 8, and 8 is still a fantastic game, is it's at the 8 because if you put it right beside its big brother, the components, the quality's not as good as it. So really, that's the only difference is the component quality. So if you want to go by gameplay, to me, they're equal. Okay, maybe this one's a half step down because it is a little basic on some of the things. Okay, there's not as many equipment cards, so you don't see as much variety and stuff. But that's it. So it's an all-around great game if you can find it. I mean, I didn't even realize this was out there. I stumbled across it online. I'm like, oh, what is this? I didn't even know it existed. I've backed this DCeased. I haven't gotten any of it yet. And then I see this. I'm like, oh no, I need that. Boom, buy it. 2 days later, it's at my house and I'm playing it. I mean, that's how much I love Zombicide. So there you go. I think I'm rambling right now. So we're going to kill it right here. To me, if you like Zombicide, this is a buy it. This is an 8 in my book. And yeah, fantastic game. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. We please ask that you leave a comment on YouTube, on X, on Board Game Geek, on Facebook, and also on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We please ask that you like us on all those platforms, and please subscribe to us as well. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you like the content that we provide you here, we humbly ask that you leave a tip. So, what do zombies call a brain freeze? A frozen dinner.
Somebody help me.
without hitting him, man.
Yes, I know. I love you.
Bailey.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Don't give our dogs any attention. Sure, Bailey.
What?
Oh, there's Sadie.